First, to start off with an easy question, I hope. First album you bought?
My first album I ever bought. I remember my first single, I think. I don't even remember my first single. I think the first album I've ever bought was a compilation album of Bob Marley, which is pretty cheesy. I'm not very proud of it, but I am proud of my love of reggae and Bob Marley.
Yeah. Do you recall specific songs that you liked?
Yeah, sure. Well, all the big songs. I Shot the Sheriff, One Love, Three Wheeler Birds. I think when I was young, when I was 10 or something, I told my parents I wanted that song on my funeral.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty strange thing to hear from your son on that age, I think. But yeah, that's I think that's the music I grew up with on holidays with my parents.
Because they listen to reggae a lot.
Yeah. My dad's very much into reggae, but he's very much into funk and soul as well. So that's what I grew up with at home. But I think I started buying reggae first, and then got more into funk and stuff.
What do you like about reggae?
I just like the positiveness of it, and just the idea of having music with a message, without having like a message that really offends a lot of people, and without having a message that I know there's some reggae music with a really offensive message behind, but I just like the positiveness and the happiness behind it, I guess, and the groove, and it's very danceable and stuff like that, I think.
Okay, what makes Bob Marley good?
Well, he's just the greatest musician ever lived, I think. He's the one that wrote all the biggest songs. Well, everybody knows Bob Marley. It's just one of the best songwriters I can come up with, I think.
If you analyze his songwriting, what can you tell about his songwriting?
He's just got a gift. I think it's very hard to analyze and to look at music as a science, because like he's just got a gift, and he writes it from his heart, and you can really see and really tell when a musician or like a writer is really standing behind his lyrics and really sings it with pride. And I think that's what's lacking in a lot of pop music these days. Just people that actually believe in what they sing and what they write. So that's probably the biggest secret about big songs like that, I think.
Okay. Well, you said that was the first album you bought. When did you pick up an instrument yourself?
Wow. I think the first instrument I've ever touched was my grandma's piano. And my grandma is actually from Holland. She lives in Dordrecht. And I used to just fool around and just play stupid chords and find chords by just pressing each note and see what fits together. But I remember telling my parents I was so obsessed by finding right melodies that actually work together as a progression. And I've always been in love with piano. I think it's probably my favorite instrument. But after that, the first instrument I bought myself was a drum kit to make my neighbors hate me and make a lot of noise.
Okay, but it seems like an odd choice if you really like the piano.
Yeah.
Melody, and then buying a drum kit.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's why I chose to make drum and bass as well, because drum and bass is the kind of music where you can combine all the melodics and the soulfulness of real soul music and hip-hop music and funk, and combine it with really energetic drums and fast breaks and stuff. And I think that's the two things I really like, and drum and bass is a genre that really lets you combine those two things in really energetic dance music.
But if you have to pick the beats or the melodies,
I wouldn't be able to choose between. No.
I was thinking maybe because you started out with the melody, maybe that's the thing that you really like the most.
Yeah, no, sure. But I think as a producer, you can't say you can make like a full acoustic song with only piano or like only guitar and leave out the drums, because I don't know, it's a fun interlude, but I wouldn't make a tune without any of the two, I think.
Okay, you said you bought a drum kit. When did you decide to combine those two? I mean, the piano, the melody side of it, of the music, and the rhythm side of it?
Yeah, when I started producing electronic music, I think.
Why did you start producing?
I kind of grew up in that time when being a DJ was something very rare and very exclusive to all the people that really got there without, with a lot of luck. You couldn't just jump into the DJ scene as you can right now. back in those days, you really needed a big label, a big management to stand behind you and to push you in big clubs and get you in front of like bigger crowds. But I just started making music in the hope to get in the clubs and to actually play in front of a crowd, play your own music in front of a crowd. So it was just that kind of hope to actually be able to express yourself on a stage in front of people that made me to make music, I think, a little bit.
What time frame are we talking about now? What year?
I must have been 14 or something. I think it's 10 years ago when I started making music. And
Pretty young.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like all my friends that were doing the same things were on that age as well, and it was the new cool thing to do. I think 10 years ago.
And how come you are here now at Pinkpop and your friends aren't? Well, maybe they are, but they aren't playing the stage.
I don't know. I've got a big nerdy disease where I can't stand going through a week without making music, and it's so addictive to me. It's always been very addictive to me. I can't go through a day without touching a computer to just try and like write down melodies. I've been whistling all day or something like that. And I think it's that kind of obsessive drive that kind of makes me crazy and weird. But I think that's what you need to actually, yeah.
What do you look for then? What do you look for when you feel you really need to drive? Is it something that you search for in your eyes, the perfect song or the perfect melody, or is it just creating a song and then off to the next song? What?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of people that try to make the perfect melody, and I gotta admit it's what every producer tries to do. But I really find when you work like that, you don't really get anywhere. You just get stuck on melodies and you start hating yourself after an hour because you don't get anywhere. I think I make music best when I'm just relaxed and when you're just making music for the sake of it, not with an idea in the back of your head or not with a story in the back of your head. I like making music when I'm just relaxed and just playing and messing around. I think that's the best way for me to make music anyway.
Can you imagine having a writer's block?
What, sir?
Can you imagine you having a writer's block because you said, well, you need to do it every day almost?
Oh no, sure. Like writer's block is something that happens to me every week sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a funny word, writer's block. I think it's got so much to do with like your kind of peace of mind. If you're not feeling well, if there's some stuff happening with your family or stuff, it doesn't just flow right, and that's my kind of writer's block, I guess. Or when you're really tired or touring. That's the kind of writer's block, I think.